Welcome, Arjun, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You must be a music or a boon to the HR manager and also many of the line managers or supervisors that they can use your solution and find the right talent, isn't it?
No, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head. One of the things that has been a bane, which we're trying to, turn to a boon, is ensure that we have a platform that houses our products, which includes an internal mobility product that is for the line managers, for the resource managers, which for the project managers, allocating people to jobs. And we fundamentally believe also in the thesis that most companies behave like professional services companies with project-based models. And that's the order of the world because everybody is trying to deliver more sharp, more real, more digitized solutions. And since we are in a sort of new normal work 2.0 environment, COVID has also forced us through its destruction to become a lot more constructive, more pivotal in our thinking, more sharp in our objectives. And talent is one pillar that we think is going to be at the heart of every business decision, right? And this is really the purpose of the organization. When we talk about simplifying talent decisions, how can I internally mobilize talent based on a demand to supply scenario? How can I mobilize talent based on a supply to demand scenario? Meaning that if I'm an employee in a company, how can I find myself the right fitment within a company which I like to work in? I like the environment, I like my colleagues, I like the functions, I like the business objective. I believe there's opportunity, but I can't find the opportunity and I'm not being led into any sort of career visualization or career projection in any form. And it's not because of the company's incompetence, it's the way the world is working today where people don't have time to talk to other people about specific things that relate to aspirations of the person to the organization success. Where we come in and where we step in as a technology company, we sort of connect the aspiration, the personal success of the individual to the organization success through technology.
So with work from home culture, or even the need for home to work from home, expanding and taking in a big way. Do you think your solution would even help there for the companies? Because now that majority of the workforce probably will be working from home, and that interpersonal connect that used to be there between companies, managers, line managers, workers, that is going to be difficult now.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look at us. We're talking through computers and we're connecting, right? And fortunately, we can see each other, and the bandwidth permits it. Although I'm using the 4G of the phone versus my Wi-Fi at home, so the infrastructure is permitting us to be able to connect, and this connection point also allows us to interface. The problem with work from home is when the lack of interface exists and we're all sort of disconnected from each other, which is, I think, unacceptable, will not give us productivity gains. I think the infrastructure, the mediums that we communicate on are going to be very, very important. And technologies like ours are going to continue to build productivity into performance for organizations through its people and through its talent, right? Identification of talent is not a new problem. I think talent acquisition, even in the US alone, is like a 40% churn with a $240 billion addressable market there, which is large. And think about the world. The world has people looking for jobs, and 2 out of 3 people are in the wrong job. If we as a company do not start looking at how we can help people find their right fitment within the company, and then look at how we can bring that search to without the company, meaning that we can help acquire the talent, knowing the heuristics of the people inside, the jobs required inside, I think that fundamentally will shift into a model where remote working, the gig economy, the millennial is going to sort of tap into their phone and say, listen, I want to start working from today, but I want to work for 3 months. How do I do that? But I want to work with a name brand company and deliver a value because I know the aspect of connecting into a name brand company will give me knowledge about processes, for instance, knowledge about working with people who have been there, done that, for instance. Somebody might say, hey, listen, I want to sort of go on a trek for 3 months and then suddenly decide to work from wherever they are and say, okay, now I want to work on user experience in a startup, right? Now, how do I get that going? Now that becomes another mantra that we as a company have to solve based on fitment requirement, not just from the company wanting to solve a problem, get a work product or an outcome, but also the individual who wants to contribute from wherever they are. I can work anytime, anywhere, right? That becomes the mantra that we need to solve for. And work from home has just kicked that into motion. We've had studies which Harvard brought out, 2014, 15 about contract workforces and how the gig economy is going to come to fore. COVID has just kicked that into motion in hyperspeed. And what it's doing for organizations that are on the right side of providing value are pivoting fast enough to continue to provide, continuous value. That is the motion that we are taking to the market. Can we start looking at people who need to get reskilled, cross-skilled, upskilled, who need to identify where they are in their journeys to be able to contribute in the time that they want and the manner that they want.
Your company, does it also help companies identify talent which needs to be reskilled so that they can fit into their requirement? Does it do that?
Absolutely. Through a product called the EdGE Pathfinder, it allows employees to identify not only what they're currently good at, but what they could potentially be good at based on their aspiration within the career architecture of the organization. We are able to identify the gaps, identify learning paths through learning experience platforms or learning management systems that house content within the enterprise. Now, the reason why we went to enterprises is we felt that the data sets that we needed to build this intelligence, to be able to have a solid, really kick-ass knowledge graph, was within large data sets that enterprises house. And honestly, the company that we sort of were born with was Wipro. Initially, we went to Wipro. We were based out of Bangalore. We went to a large IT services company, and who better than Wipro, who entertains startup companies. We also found that, engaging with a company on the IT services side taught us a lot about project-based work and the whole move to the digital economy. How is digitization going to affect IT services? And technically, IT services has been kicked into hyper speed now with digitization at scale and the kind of quality of work that they're picking up based on the new normal and the new facets of the businesses, the clients, and the customers that they cater to is really fascinating. We've had the good fortune to have customers like Wipro, HCL, Vertusa, NTT Data Services, UST Global. At the pinnacle of things, we have about 10% of India's IT services workforce on our platform, right? That's about 400,000 employees who are actually currently transacting through our platform for search and match across demand and supply to demand, talent acquisition, various things. We've gone through about 35 million resumes, close to about 11 million job descriptions. And we are able to understand the science of what kind of role skill combinations are best suited for a specific type of job. And we're able to submit to an employee, this is how you can go forward and progress in your career. We're launching this project. We've actually launched it in a company called UST Global. And now we're going to launch it in probably 5 other customers within this quarter and the next.
That's a big data you're talking about. So that brings to the important question of data security. How do you assure your clients that the data that you hold is secured?
We work really hard on compliance and security. Primarily, we have learned on the back of giants like HCL and Wipro to understand in the early days what it meant to them. Privacy is very important in terms of the employee, depending on the country. I think unilaterally across every country, you have GDPR that has come to the fore. You have security of data, and cybersecurity has gone through the roof, not just because of COVID, but prior to that, I'm sure you've noticed a trend over the last 24 months on how cybersecurity itself has become really important for companies to govern. Post-COVID, because of everybody working from home, it becomes a lot more important to manage personally identifiable information across enterprise systems, and hence we have to be enterprise ready to be able to deal with them. Nobody in today's day and age would deal with a company like ours if we are not compliant and secure in the fashion that we need to be, so that we can continue to do business with these large giants.
What does it mean for you to be part of NASDAQ 2020?
For us, it is an opportunity. It is I'm part of the NASSCOM Product Council, so I do believe in the value that the NASSCOM brand has created across the software companies in India. And I believe that from a technology standpoint, the product council has been working really hard. I've been an NASSCOM member, I think, over the last 6 years of the 8 years that we have existed, primarily because, sort of the company was born in India and delivers its value within this ecosystem to a large degree. But the expanse of what NASSCOM brings to its fore is global. When we do have active, engagement within the NASSCOM forum, it is about how do we go and reach out to people who are going to bring back to our building exercises, to our development exercises, to our strategy exercises, to ensure that we are continuing to build global product out of the country. And NASSCOM has helped with us. NASTech is an opportunity for EdGE to continue in the path of building a company that's global. I think this is a platform that we will continue to work with.
My Startup TV is a platform for startups and businesses like yours. We showcase, your stories, your success stories, the challenges that startup and businesses go through. When you hear that, what is your first impression?
Well, it's important for us to be able to deliver the problem statements, the realities of building businesses. I don't think they are uncommon, but what I find is a uniqueness in every startup's journey that is very endearing to the audience, where the audience picks up nuggets of information through the learnings. Some of it is corroboration between one story and another. Some of it is enlightenment because it's something that dawned upon you when you're watching a segment, session, or a piece. But I think it's very important to do what you're doing. I wouldn't have found a better way than My Startup TV to deliver this message in its authenticity and its reality, because you're focused, right? I think that focus is something that people don't look at really well, but you guys are doing it. It means a lot to take the message out. It means a lot for people to watch and learn through this medium. And I think it's a great thing to do. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you, Arjun. Thank you for those kind words. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to calling you on some of our other shows, on either on panel discussions or thought leader workshops. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Cheers.